leave.
You just have to run faster than the person next to you.
Yeah.
I'm the person next to you that fell, and you're welcome.
Hey, you over there.
Yeah?
Guess what?
What?
You wanna talk spooky stuff?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Kay.
And I'm Gabe.
You're a ghoul.
Sure am.
Wow, same.
What brings you here next to me?
I'm kinda over humanity.
Yeah, people are trash.
Just like our bodies.
You know there's a lot to say about how media is made.
Like there's a more to every story.
Exactly. It's fascinating. We could make a show.
A show?
And we'll let everybody know. Use our brains.
Brains.
No, not to eat. To educate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I guess you could say we're the ghouls
next
door. Hi, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat.
And we're
The Ghouls Next Door.
As you saw, happy new month.
Yeah.
Where we're doing horror musicals or just musicals that are horrific. There's horror things in them.
Mm-hmm.
Super fun. That's like the first time you'll see our new intro for the musical times. How fun. Great job, Kat.
Thanks, man. I tried.
It was great. Yeah, so today we are kicking off our horror musicals series, and we will be joined by a wonderful guest to talk about horror and all the things that we love, and as well as the horror musical known as Anna and the Apocalypse, which takes place during Christmas. Mm-hmm. And features zombies, which is like a big hodgepodge of things and somehow still works.
Yeah, it was just
High School Musical.
100%. And it was just really fun. Like, I think after Repo, that just felt like what we needed.
Mm-hmm. Before Repo for other people.
Oh, well then, you know what I mean. Either way. Repo exists, and then we watched this at some point, and it was a nice little treat because it wasn't zombies happened. It wasn't so scary, but it was like just genuinely ridiculous and fun.
Yeah, and I think there are some things that we're going to explore that are going to be really stressful and relevant to today's world. So I'm very excited to talk to another human being. Especially with the specific song Human Voice, which we'll talk about, where it's just like I just want to hear another human voice. As much as I love you, Kat, it's like let's have another person to talk to as well.
Immediately
we have a fellow spooky lover and horror creator of the YouTube channel, Bobby Likes It Spooky. Hi, Bobby.
Hey, y'all. I'm in love with y'all intro. Like, I literally was just smiling the whole entire time. It's so good.
It's so ridiculous. Anytime we can be like extra, we're like, okay, make an anime intro, got it. Yes. Make a musical intro, got it. But thank you so much for joining us. We are fans of yours and are always watching your content. So it's honestly a delight to have you join us.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm happy to be here. I know we had to reschedule, because
life.
We're here today, and I'm just so happy to be here. I'm a fan of you guys as well, because y'all be going deep. Y'all be y'all be having me thinking sometimes. So I just be like, So when y'all invited me on to here, I'm just like, okay, I'm excited. I gotta come prepared. But then I was like, oh, in the apocalypse, I mean, how deep can we go with this movie? So.
And then it surprises you because it gets you in your feelings. And you're like,
oh, yes.
That's rude.
Yeah.
You're just High School Musical, like your friends are dying and there's zombies. And then like you make me feel things like that's not fair.
Yeah.
Right. Not at all.
For our listeners and viewers, one, if you're watching us on YouTube and Facebook, hello. Thank you for watching and listening. You can drop comments and chat with us live. Otherwise, you're listening to this later, watching this later. Thanks for that as well. You can also still drop some comments and remember to subscribe to our channel, but also to Bobby Likes It Spooky. Can you tell people what they can find at your channel?
But they can find a whole bunch of craziness and nonsense and just me just being over the top most of the time. But just mostly me just doing spooky reviews on horror movies, theme ratings. I usually do fun like top 5s and top 10s every now and then. And I also do collabs with horror creatives and things like that. And currently I'm doing American Horror Story double feature with some friends of mine as well. So yeah, I'm kind of doing a little bit of everything on my channel, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is super fun. I love the top 5 because it's like one hearing someone validate your feelings, but then also find new things. Where I'm like, oh, I'm already interested in this thing, so let me like find out more and get access to that. And super like relatable and just fun. Love your background. I'm like,
I was also thinking that. I was like waiting for the moment.
You full screen. I was like, I love the Us, like the scissors, but then you also have like Get Out and like the Us family. Like that's beautiful.
Shout out to Destiny Kelly. She's a independent artist. She did this herself. She's a super talented, great artist. And I see her post this on her Instagram and Twitter, and I literally hit her up and like, I need this. And she got a whole bunch of other like art other than what you see right here. But this one stuck out to me a lot, so I said I had to have it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's as you can see. Love it. Jordan Peele. Yeah, Kat has yet to see Candyman, sadly.
Oh.
It's just because it made me go outside to do it. If I didn't have to go outside, I would have watched it already. But
I feel you. Yeah.
It's
I think, was Candyman? No, Candyman was not my first movie I've seen in theaters this year, but I was still a little iffy. But I'm like, you know what? I'm vaccinated, and I'm going to try to stay as far away from people as much as I can. And I mean, I don't know. People still don't follow rules. But but we're also in Philadelphia. We're all in Philly. You forgot to say that, okay? I don't really collab with many people from my city, so I'm really also happy to be here because other Philadelphians, like, come on. So.
Yes. I remember we found that out just on Twitter. And you just like mentioned like, oh, something's in Philadelphia. I was like, we're in Philadelphia. I was like,
what?
This
whole time?
Like we have a neighbor. Yeah. So awesome. It's like we recently had Wimoto Yoka from Dusky Projects and Black Women Are Scary. And she's also in Philly now. But she previously like lived, I believe, in New York. So it's like everyone just all the horror heads like come here.
I love it.
All get tattoos.
Yes. I collab with so many other people and met so many people that's from different parts of the country. And it's very rare that I like came across somebody that lived in Philadelphia. And then when I seen that you guys are from Philly, I was like, yes, it's not just me here doing this. So we definitely got to link up in person someday when things are safe.
Yeah.
100%.
And it's like, okay outside because it just seems to get worse every time. I am very excited to do this connect. And one of the reasons why I really love that we're kind of doing this thing more frequently where we have guests, because there's like a long chunk of time where we didn't have guests like at all. When we first started, we had guests every 3 episodes. That was like our goal, was to like bring someone on. And it usually was just like a random friend who liked a thing. We are usually the horror heads, like
horror friend group.
And then one person's like, oh yeah, I like horror, and we're like, are you our new best friend?
Right.
You can just jump onto them.
Right, you just pounce on them.
Like, okay, now you're one of us. So it's always like it's exciting to kind of bring guests on now, because it's kind of just like friends that like otherwise you wouldn't have had or you wouldn't have found in this little community that we're finding online.
Exactly.
But I one of the questions that I've been asking all our guests, because I always find it interesting, is what subgenre of horror tends to get under your skin? Like the one that like scares you, either it means you won't ever watch them or it means you watch them extra hard because it gets you that thrill.
Good question. Okay, so I'm a hardcore slasher person. Like I love slasher. Halloween is my favorite slasher film. I'm a big Michael Myers guy. It used to be Possession that got underneath my skin. But throughout as the years went by and we got more films, it kind of went down a little bit. But I probably would say, I guess some film footage, like this film footage subgenre. I think that gets to me a lot just because it plays in that world of like real life.
Yeah.
And some movies don't do it well, but there's some movies that actually hit very hard when they do the whole film footage thing. So I probably would say that. As far as the film footage movies, damn, there's so many. Like I mean, obviously I love the Paranormal Activity movies. Some of them are great. No. let me take that back. I was just having a discussion about Paranormal Activity 4. And a lot of people didn't like that. I didn't have a problem with that movie except for the little boy that's in that film. Like he did bother me a lot, but other than that, I would say the worst Paranormal Activity movie was Ghost Dimension, the last one, just because they were trying to wrap things up and it just didn't make any sense and it was just all over the place. But also Wreck is a good one. I love Quarantine. So Cloverfield is like a great creature like film footage. But I think what started it all was the Blair Witch. And I think that stuck with me the most because I remember my first time watching it on VHS and I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah. It's
just, and at that time you didn't see anything like it, right? Like you just see, this is a real life tape of these kids that gone missing. And then by the time you get to the end, you just see the kids standing at the wall and, Heather screaming. And then obviously she gets knocked on the head or something and the camera falls and then that's it. And you're just left like thinking, all right, what happened next? Obviously they're dead, but like what exactly happened to them? It's the mystery of like what happened. So I think that's what bothered me a lot. And that's what scared me. That's what got underneath my skin with the film footage genre. That started it all for me.
Yeah, I think it's always interesting when it kind of expands from just like a film to like the world around it. Like thinking of like Blair Witch, like at the end you're just left with like the words that just say like, they were never found and this is the only evidence, right? And the fact that their marketing campaign was so heavy on like, this is real, like these kids are missing, we just happened to find this. And it's like, it's pretty believable because even the witch stuff is so subtle and like, like it could just be like, someone in the woods doing this. Like we had a whole one where I think because we covered Blair Witch twice, and it was one of our earlier episodes. I think like number 2 or 3.
It was early. I don't know when, but it was early.
Like super early. But we talked about how it's possible. Like I found some video where someone was arguing that the boys were doing that to her. Like it was actually like they set up that whole thing and there's like a lot of gaslighting that's happening and that it was all this ruse to like get her there and essentially like murder her. And it was like really interesting to like look into and be like, what if that was like, there's this
like
whole
actually what happened
idea behind it.
Ooh, that would not fly. I mean, that definitely wouldn't fly back then, but in today's world, that definitely would have been like a big problem.
Yeah. It's like if you like, I'll try to find that video and send it to you. But like, if you watch that and then you like rewatch Blair Witch, you like start to see like there are moments where like there's questions where it's just like, oh, where did the map go? And how come they're so like adamant about like knowing where everything is when she's the one who was like orchestrating this? Like, but they're like, no. I mean, it's also like, could just be men being men. Like, I know the way around the woods I've never been in. Just how it goes. But also, I think like after you watch it, you're like, oh, okay, I see how this could be like. That's a different horror story.
Oh my gosh, now that's in my head. So when I watch this movie, I'm like, it's done the whole time. It's not a witch.
Yeah, it was worse.
It was worse.
Yeah, because it's just like it combines your found footage and like slasher fears, and it's like it's just some guy murdering now.
Yeah, it was like Creep, right? Like,
yeah,
the same concept of like you're uncomfortable, but you don't leave. And then it's your fault at the end of the day with Creep, which is why it's one of my favorites, because it's one of the most believable like horror films. Just in that, like, I can very much see people who are afraid of confrontation or who are afraid to like
just stay.
Yeah, because you also feel bad and you don't want to like be that person that like that other person that like abandons this clearly like. This person in need of help, well, human, like you be also the person who abandons them. So I get it. I get how that can happen to you. So that's great. I love found footage. I think Paranormal Activity messed itself up on number 2 because it undid all the work that the first one did and was like,
I can see that
there's already lore and they were like, psych. The lore is actually different, and now we have like a ghost with a stupid or a demon with a stupid name,
Toby.
Toby, so bad. And then all the other films that came from it were trying to fix that.
Like they were trying to. So the third movie, like they brought the little girls. Well, what's her name? Katie and her sister when they were little, and I was like, oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one, I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
What I really love though, and a lot of people hate, is the Mark ones. I love the Mark ones, and I remember they were marketed it as like it's a standalone Paranormal Activity, like it's not connected. But then when you get to the end, you actually see how it ties into the first one, and that's when I truly gagged. I was just like, yes, this is fucking amazing.
I would say I in the third one, I love the camera on the revolving fan.
The fan,
that's like the best like found footage camera technique in the world. And then in the fourth one, the one redeemable thing, because I agree that it's not great. And the ending was like, really, what?
Right.
Like, what? It's a little like Hereditary. Like, psych, it's been evil
bunch of
ladies, naked old ladies. But was when they used the Xbox, because the Xbox first had, what was the Xbox thing called?
Was it Connect?
Connect.
I feel like it's Connect.
And so they had where you could put the dots because it would track your movement. When they did that, I was like, okay, this is cool, because we're like, because you could see the movement in the dots, and I was like, that's dope. I was like, you're using technology that I use. Yeah, I like to play games.
You use Xbox, Gabe?
I did. My brother had it, so we played Connect. I used to play with Dance Central.
That's fine.
I never owned an Xbox. Never played one. I'm a Sony PlayStation dude.
Same.
But
Xbox is blasphemous. I don't care if we lose followers.
I literally got the controller in my hand. I don't know what to do. Like,
why is it so big?
Why is it shaped like this?
It's like chunky.
It is a chunky controller.
It was like I said, my brother had it, so it was like our way of like hanging out together. I always had PlayStation. Those are the only things I have, and Nintendo. And my Switch. Kat, do you have questions for our lovely guest?
No, just kidding.
I don't want to know anything.
I just thought it was really funny because you did say found footage is like the one that gets under your skin. That's the same for Gabe. She's like terrified of found footage. But I guess like ones that don't get under your skin, but you just love. I know you mentioned slashers, but like what is you geek out, you have to see it if it comes out genre? It's okay if it's also slashers.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I'm super excited for Halloween Kills. Y'all don't understand. Like, I'm just ready for this movie to drop. And I know it premiered at Venice Festival yesterday, I believe. And I'm trying to avoid the reviews and stuff, but it's hard because internet. So they just pop up everywhere. But you know what? I'm super excited. I got a chance to talk with Carmela McNeil. She's in the movie.
So exciting.
Yeah, she was in the 2018 film, but she had like a super small role, and she played the sexy nurse. Ooh. But in this movie, she actually has an actual role. So
yeah, growth.
So
growth horror. Is it a growth from sexy nurse to getting the lines? Thank you.
You get a name in the credits instead of just sexy nurse.
Yeah.
We talked about that. So it was just sexy nurse. Now she is Vanessa, the sexy nurse.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I was just gushing over, like talking to her about Halloween, how's like my favorite. So I'm super excited for that. Obviously, I was excited for Candyman. Obviously, I'm not going to say much because, you still need to see it.
I know.
But
I'm a heathen over here just
but beautiful film, I think, Candyman.
Yes.
I agree. Like, I saw a post about Halloween Kills like today, and I was like, all right, like it's what?
Right.
It's not even kind of close to October.
Right.
Yeah.
You know how spooky people be. September, they break out the Halloween decorations.
Already, like talking about this film, I was like, it ain't even kind of out yet. Like, it's not even like a hint of out. I don't know what happened, but I haven't seen any of the Halloween films.
Any,
which is
not even the original.
Not even the original.
Yeah.
That's our first hangout.
Yes, this season.
Movie night.
Just binge.
Yes.
Binge.
That's my goal is, because I've seen the trailer like a few times for Halloween Kills, and I was like, this looks dope. I was like, I'm loving all the like Scream Queens coming back, fighting back, because like I think that's just the biggest thing is like I was like Michael Myers is just like a dude, like like
an old ass dude now.
Yeah, like what's he doing?
Like 65, almost 70.
Yeah,
still
is out here.
Windows. Yeah, he's still out here in these streets,
living his best life,
able to get out of firehouses. Like, what are you doing? So I was like, okay, maybe I'll actually see it this time. And so my goal is to watch all the ones with Jamie Lee Curtis, because I hear those are like the more important, and they all contribute to the story, so that I'll be able to do that. So I want to binge all the Jamie Lee Curtis.
This one, because Jamie Lee Curtis is obviously on the first one, the second one, H2O and Resurrection, and then the 2018 and then Halloween Kills. If you want to follow the storyline, because Halloween got so many like messed up, like the timeline's all over the place. It's literally got its own timeline of different stories and events.
So weird.
All you really need to watch is the first one in 2018 and then this one, just because this new movie only connects to that. But if you want to have fun, just watch them all and just get into the messiness of, Michael Myers and where they took his story, how he became who he was, and just it's a ride. It's a mess. It's real sloppy, but it's a fun time. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm like, I think it's with what we cover all the time.
It might be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to just like have a slasher where it's just like inventive murder and stress, and you're just like running and screaming, and that sounds like relaxing to me, which is ridiculous. That's nice than like, watching films that are trying to teach me things that make me sad. It's like, I just want murder. Just rampage, carnage. Just give me that. I don't want to think all the time. I don't always want to use my brain. Don't get me wrong. I do love movies that have me thinking, but there's a time and a place for that. You know what I mean? Like, I have to know what I'm getting myself into. So like for now, every damn Jordan Peele film that comes out, I know I'm gonna have to use my brain, just because he always got like these hidden messages and stuff going on in them. So when Nope comes out next year, I already know. I'm just gonna be like, okay, turn it on and just say it's annoying. Yeah. So. You gotta watch it twice, because you watch the first one and just be like, what's going on?
Have fun.
Right.
Yeah. The second time.
I've seen us in theaters 3 times. Because I enjoyed it. Then I caught the second time, that's when I caught things I haven't caught the first time I watched it. And the third time I just watched it for the pure joy of it again with my mom. So and then Candyman I've seen 2 times. So,
I've seen it. I plan to watch it again, so that we can talk about it, and hopefully Kat can watch too.
Yes. I feel like y'all can dig deep into it. Like y'all can. I already know. Like when you see it, I can't wait to tune into that, because y'all gonna go in. I already know it.
Yeah. I mean, we'll definitely try. I've already gotten like requests from some fans who are like, "When are you covering it? When are you talking about it?" I was like, "I'm still like digesting," because people are like, "How do you feel? How did you do you like it?"
Right.
And I'm just like, I am still remembering all the things. Like, I'm still like kind of going through, and it almost feels like it was kind of like two films to me. Like, I feel like the first half and the second half felt like two different films. So I'm like, I got to process this part and then I got to process this part. True. So I'm like doing it. But I think overall enjoyed it, and it's long awaited, did not disappoint. So I'm very excited for Kat to watch it so we can
I need to get my life together is what you just made me know. Is that like I need to get my life together so I can go see this film. It's like it's not even so much being scared of outside. It's just like it's like I don't know. I'm not somebody who's gonna watch. I'm a bad horror fan in that I'm not somebody who's going to watch it by myself most of the time. Mm-hmm. So like if someone's being my buddy for the movie, which is hard in a pandemic, you can't really have a buddy for a movie if it's like scary. But like I need to just start watching stuff by myself. Like I feel like I have the ability to do that. So I just need to get my life together.
I'm starting to feel the same way. Like I used to always have to have somebody with me to go to the movie theater. But now I'm starting to just get comfortable with going by myself. That's because, I mean, if I think about it, like I watch a lot of horror movies by myself at home anyways, because my boyfriend, he just be like, I'm going upstairs. Like it's so many times I'm watching like something just obscure or just cuckoo bananas, and he wakes up and he's just see like blood and guts, and he's
like,
me. Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Go to sleep.
Right. Go back to sleep. So yeah, he has to put up with my like obsession with horror films, but a lot of times I watch it by myself. So now when I go to the theater, it's just like it's pretty much the same thing. I'm just actually getting out my comfort zone and going somewhere and going to another place to watch a movie. So
yeah, because it's an experience. Our partners are the same, where they're like, no,
they hate
we don't really. You gotta really sing it. When I said I was watching Repo, my partner, like, he was like, I'm gonna leave. He's like, I'm gonna go far away. I don't want to even hear this trash movie. But I just feel like horror itself is a very like community, like it's a communal experience. Like it has a lot of strength when you're together and everyone is like screaming, or like a lot of my joy from childhood came from like, me and family and friends, like all in the living room with like blankets, watching like The Strangers together. And like every time so like, oh, he's right there, he's behind you, he's in the window, like turn up, like, and having that like everyone kind of feeding off of each other's
to
energy.
It all together.
It adds to the experience.
Yeah, it adds to the experience. And that's what I love about the movie theater, and I love going to the movie theater. But then you also have those cons where you have the people talking too much, and then they're on their phone, and it's just whatever. But I just love when I go to a movie in a movie theater and everybody reacts to the scenes that needs to be reacted to, and they get scared at the same scenes, laugh at the same scenes, because that's what it's supposed to do. You shouldn't be talking throughout the whole entire damn film. You know what I mean? So
yes.
That's the only time I really hate going to the theaters, but you never know who you're going to get when you go in there. I mean, it's
public space.
Yeah.
People are trash. So
I've had like good experience, like for Candyman, it was a private screening, so it was just like a few of us, so that we would feel a little more safe, and we were all masked up and vaccinated. So we like were able to talk. Like I didn't know them, but we had like a mutual, so we were all able to like kind of connect. And I just remember in the part in Candyman, because there's a lot of just Yaya who's just like not wearing shirts or pants, and it's just a blessing. And so there's so many scenes where he's just out, and it's always like, but, and this one of the audience members just was like, thank you.
Yes. I was saying that in my head. It was one scene, I'm not going to spoil it for you, Kay, but it was just one scene involving looking in the mirror, and girlfriend comes in, and that's it. I was just like,
Yeah, it was so long. It's so long. And it was like I dwelled in this like angle so that you could see like full
everything. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, no, she's right. Thank you.
That man is gorgeous.
I was like, Nia DaCosta, you are a saint. One amazing film, but also thank you.
Yes, exactly.
which is so great. And then there's like awful ones. Like I saw the recent Fast and Furious movie.
Oh boy, how was that?
Fast and Furious. I thought it was wonderful. It was so fun and stupid, so dumb, and just amazing for that.
Did they go to space on this one?
They did a little bit go to space. They were in a spaceship car.
Spaceship car.
It's like they rigged it. It's ridiculous.
That's how you know he'll do anything for family.
There's a part where they like throw a car. Like they literally use a car to like throw another car. Like not like it's absurd. It's absurd. So I was like, this is the best thing that's ever happened. They do a lot of that thing where they catch people with cars. And they do like, it's just absurd. But there was these two dudes who were next to me who like probably hadn't watched the other films in years, but completely like missed all of the gems and things. Cause it was very much for an audience that was like, we know Fast and Furious is ridiculous. It has its own physics and laws. And it does these stupid like references to itself a lot, like with the Corona and like all this stuff. So there was like a scene where the character like hands Vin Diesel like a Corona, and it's like the shot, and he's just like, yeah, I know you like Corona. And it's like clearly referenced to any time they've done that. Or if they say grace, like whoever tries to eat first, you have to say grace. Like those general cliches that are in every single movie. And these dudes just like didn't know any of it. So every time something absurd happened, they were just like, why is this happening? Who's that? This is ridiculous. Why doesn't any of this science work? And I was like, dudes, you came to the wrong movie.
You can't come to this movie thinking it's going to be realistic.
Like, yeah, if you want like actual how cars do, this is not it.
This not it for you.
Yeah. So it was just super annoying the whole time.
At least the movie is aware of its foolishness. You know what I mean? Like they know it, so they're gonna play off of that. So
yeah, I love. There are some amazing films when they're self-aware. Yeah. They're like, yeah, we're dumb, and I hope you're having a good time. Yeah. Which is like
why you're here. So.
Yeah, it works. And the same with like horror too, like horror that like gets it, like thinking of like Cabin in the Woods, like how they're just like, we are aware of and acknowledge all of the terrible horror tropes, or just like Scream, right? Like talk about slashers from the Slasher King, right? Like he's like, look at all the funny stuff we've done. Look at all the rules that we have created just by making things together. Now we're gonna make fun of it and still be spooky and fun. Like such a good time.
Such a good time. I love it. Cabin in the Woods was one of those movies, like, because when I first seen the trailer for it, like it just gave very much like Evil Dead. Cabin, group of friends, they're stuck in there. But when I finally seen that movie, like obviously, like you said, the movie's aware of itself, but just the surprises in that movie just blew me away. I loved it. And then you had Sigourney fucking Weaver show up at the damn end of the movie. I was like, I can't take it. Queen.
Yeah. Saint Ripley.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then the references towards like other horror movies, like you have the different monsters in those, I guess those cube things or whatever. And you have the one that's, that look like the people from The Strangers, and then you have the one that look like Pinhead from Hellraiser. So it's pretty cool how they just tie all that into one and just made it like a big like blood feast fest or whatever you want to call it. And just amazing. I love that movie.
Yeah, I do love the meme that's come out from like just the existence of 2020 and 2021, wherever they have like the two dudes, and it's like, who had money on, like, like especially in like Philadelphia recently, it's like, who had money on we would have 4 tornadoes in one day, like in like what?
That was wild. I was at work when that happened, and I was tornado warning. But usually when we get tornado warnings in Philadelphia, we know nothing really is going to happen because it's Philadelphia. But when later, like when we've seen all like the crazy cases with the floods and people's houses being destroyed and stuff, I'm just like, the end is coming.
Yeah, like
this one was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was scared.
Yeah, and rightfully so. Like because Kat and I just earlier this year did our like natural disaster series, and so we had covered like twisters, tornadoes, and so when we got the alert, both of us got it. We saw that it said tornado warning and not watch, which is like warning is when like you take action, it's coming. It's not like maybe there's like one. It's like they've seen it, it's confirmed, it's coming your way. So it was like, go to your basement. Yeah. We were both like, oh. There's like,
I had to put my cats in like carriers, and like they were not a fan, and we're like, you don't understand, you could die, we need to go.
You're in Maine where there's all that flooding too, so it's also dangerous, like because it's like go to your basement, but then it was like flood warning, go to high ground, and you're like, it's like I can't
do
go.
Where
do I go?
I'm not safe either way.
Our houses were built for this.
Right.
Yeah, it was. No
in my
knew.
basement, like it floods like when we get the heaviest rains, because like the pipes and stuff are just all messed up in my whole neighborhood. So it floods when it gets really bad. So like I was just like expecting to come home to like my basement just being done. Luckily that didn't happen, but I was also scared because my babies, my dogs, I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to get off of work. I need to rush home because I need to take them out the house. And one of my dogs, she has very bad anxiety when it storms. She start pacing and panting and just freaking out and stuff. But luckily, I guess they didn't hear it and they were just chilling when I came home. I was like, oh, y'all
wow.
Y'all good. Cool.
They were like, don't worry.
Yeah. My cats knew. They were like meowing at me. Like my one cat who has horrible anxiety, she was like putting her paw on me like, Mom, hey, something's not right. We gotta go.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised because like 10 minutes later is when we got the warning, and I was like, oh, is this why you were all up on me? I guess it's the sign. The animals do know.
They do, yeah. My newest cat, he was like a street cat for forever. So he's like always anxious. Like he's like, at any moment I could live back outside. So whenever it storms, he gets like super freaked out. And he was just like, I didn't see him. He was just like gone. I was like, okay, he's taking care of it. He figured it out. It's like debris isn't gonna find him. He's gonna hide away. Poor thing. Yeah, we're in the middle of our own apocalypse, which is a great segue into Anna and the Apocalypse. Look at what I did there. Which is a horror musical featuring zombies. And it is, let me tell you what it's about. According to IMDb from 2017, a zombie apocalypse threatens the sleepy town of Little Haven at Christmas, forcing Anna and her friends to fight, slash, and sing their way to survival, facing the undead in a desperate race to reach their loved ones. It starts off very heavily High School Musical, like, angst. No one understands me. Our love is going to be forever. I'm the nerd and I love my friend, but she loves the bad boy. Yeah.
Very much that. And I was really like, when I first watched this movie, because it was suggested to me, and I was just like, okay, I love musicals. Don't get me wrong. Rent is my favorite musical like ever. I fucking love Rent.
Yeah, so good.
And I love
that's great.
Yeah, and I love Chicago and all them. So with this one, I'm just like, okay, I'll give it a chance because horror, holiday, musicals, mix of my favorite genres together. And then when we was getting into this, I'm just like, okay, because I wasn't the biggest High School Musical fan, to be honest. Like, I was
recently. I don't think I've ever seen them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
This floppy-haired kid who's like, it's not cool to sing. How I do both. Like that just
I was the other way around. I was more of a cheetah girl.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
That's a great musical. I don't know if it is a musical, but it is.
Still is. They're singing in the street. They sit on the car and they're like,
yes, on top of cars.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you get to the second movie in Barcelona. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, that's childhood.
So getting into this movie, I was like, all right, because I'm an adult now. I was like, I don't care about these like high schoolers and stuff. But I actually ended up falling in love with it, and then the zombies were cool, and it was just like a nice little touch. Like you got the world going to shit, and then you got these kids going through their little problems, and then you just have zombies just fucking shit up at the same time with the craziest. What was he, a teacher? Savage or whatever his name was.
Headmaster, because it's British people.
Yeah. But he wasn't the highest though, because there was someone above him who was retired.
Okay.
First time I see this movie, I hated him. When I watched this again to prepare for this, I love him. I don't know why.
No.
He's just so villain. Like, huh?
He is the villain.
He is, but you know what it is? He's just so over the top. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it just I don't know. It was super funny to me. So the first time I hated it because he was the villain and he was just like obnoxious. But then now, when I watched it this time, I'm just like, he's horrible, but he's just over the top and it's still even more obnoxious. And I just love it. Like, and he has the crazy hair.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I was like, when I was watching, I was thinking of like the audition, or like when I was like of him, of like what his audition must have been like, and just thinking to myself, like, I would love if I like was hired to play a character like that, to be like the ridiculous headmaster who hates teens and like and he's like clearly like working to fulfill some sense of like authority. Like clearly no one takes him seriously. He's never won or achieved anything real in his life. And so he like, it attacks everyone around him, and it's so sad because like Anna's dad is like nice to him and is clearly his friend, but he's just like, oh, janitor, you're nothing.
Horrible.
Yeah, because clearly he's been told his whole life that he would mean nothing unless he achieved some status, and so now he's like putting that on other people.
But he was fun.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. I was laughing at the part. I don't want to jump too far ahead, but I just had to get this out. But I don't know why it just made me laugh so hard. But when the one girl, I forgot her name, she was performing on the stage and the lyrics wasn't that good. He's just shaking like filth. This is like, he's just like, he's literally about to explode. I'm like, oh my gosh, like calm down.
The lyrics were so, he's just like, I filled your sack. Filled your sack and your milk. I was like, okay, she's like singing the cute little Christmas song, and then you're like listening, you're like, wait, what did she just say to me? Did she just say that? Like, what the hell? Oh my God.
Honestly reasonably a little mad in that scenario.
Yeah, he was like, this is children,
Yeah.
And then you
like
have
these parents would be mad.
Outfits prancing around with their little candy canes and stuff. Background dancing.
It's like Mean Girls energy when they had like that ridiculous Christmas song.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like trying to find like the lyrics for it because like I just remember one. I think I like sent it to you, Kat, where I was just like, did she just say something about his sack? But it's just like her. It says, "I've warmed your milk and made your favorite snack, so come on over and unload your sack."
That's good.
I just remember being like, double taking to the screen, like, what? Okay, this film is going to be something, and it really was, because it's like it takes a while before the zombies happen, and when they do, they're so like just like fine. And I love, one of the things I love about this film was like that the characters in the world knew what zombies were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't like, oh god,
like it's real, like what happened to them. It's just like, no, zombies happened. We're kids. We know that you
seen the movies
them this way.
Yeah.
And I think like watching the trailer, what sold me on this was the song where they're like singing on their way to school and the zombies are like doing that, and she's just like, yeah.
And all this stuff is going on around.
And she's just like
just totally oblivious.
Right.
She got her headphones in.
Have you ever been that oblivious to things when you're just like so into your music? Like, I'm just asking y'all, like, have y'all ever like just fuck your surroundings? You're into this song. This is my shit. I'm having a good time.
I definitely just zone out. Don't hear other people talking to me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It was like that one scene of like the Dawn of the Dead, like when she's like driving through and it's just like the cul-de-sac of crazy, and then she's just like unoblivious to it.
Yeah.
What were you
Yeah,
gonna
I
say,
feel
Kat?
like high school me probably would have been that way. In that, it's just like I just thought I was so cool with my music. Like I had like I'd like downloaded things off of LimeWire onto my MP3 player, and I like really just thought I
was
was
LimeWire too.
the coolest. And I was probably just like jamming on my way to school, unaware. There was one time I clean walked into a pole. That did happen because I was looking at my phone and listening to music, and I just walked directly into a pole because I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, I bumped into people and ran into people just because I wasn't paying attention. But okay.
Yeah.
New level.
Yeah.
Levels.
They used to call me the Queen of La La Land in like middle school, though. So like my teachers, because they just like walk up to me and be like, but no one was like, I wonder if she got ADHD or something.
Yeah, no one asked the right question.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Yeah, what about you, Bobby? Have you ever been so enthralled by your music?
Yes, but I feel like if I was her, I would see shit going on around me. I'm not that like oblivious to things, you know what I mean? Like I might be into my song, but like, oh, okay. And then if the moment I notice somebody getting their head torn the fuck off or bit into or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
Reasonably.
earpods, headphones off, I'm going back home.
Yeah. Like you need to be aware of your surroundings. Like, what is this world that you live in?
I really want to see a zombie movie where someone's like, just like so over it. Like they just get up and they're like, I didn't have my coffee yet. This isn't what I'm trying to do today.
Yeah.
Do I still have to go to work?
Yeah.
Like, is capitalism still in play right now?
Too, when she's like outside of it's like what 20 years later, she's working corporate life and she's going through shit again. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. I love her bad boy boyfriend, or not boyfriend, her friend with benefits. And his song of just when it comes to killing zombies, I was like,
I actually like that one too.
Yeah,
he like hit notes, man.
Yes.
I just love like his crew was like just teen boys, which is like fine. I was just like, it's so rude that he knows how hot he is and that he's just like playing that.
Right.
Like, I hate it when people know sometimes. He was just like,
he's just like, look at me. I can hit high notes too.
I can hit things.
Did y'all find him hot? I mean,
I did.
Yeah.
I mean,
he got personality. I think it's just like
what it is, the swagger.
Yeah, I was gonna say
more than like
swagger.
Appearance. It's just he really just seemed like, I don't know. I guess it's like attractive when someone knows they're attractive, but it's also not. It's like a mix of both. He just had a confidence about him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where you're just like, all right. But then also it's like whenever they have movies that are themed in high school and me as like a grown adult, I'm like, all right, I need to Google because
how old are you?
Am I allowed to? Like,
am I a problem right now? I need to know. And I'll evaluate whether or not I think they're. But he was like old enough.
Yeah.
He was a full adult who was also in like Witcher and other things.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
yeah,
that's good.
That's how I felt about Fear Street. Like, because obviously in the Fear Street movies, like you got these teenagers, and I'm just like, and there's obviously a scene in the first part where they're doing some stuff, and I'm just like, are they allowed to do this? Because they literally look like they're 16. They shouldn't be doing this, but they're like in their 20s. So I'm like, all right, cool. They're
this is in the clear.
Yeah,
but it's like how much of that do we need, right? Like even like your Euphoria and stuff. I'm just like, how much?
Yes.
Like we know, but do we need to know? Do we need to know this badly about
even Generation? Have you guys been watching that on HBO Max?
No.
It's like it's good. It's like Skins and Euphoria, but I would say more like Euphoria and Skins, but it's more lighter, it's more funny.
Okay.
And it follows these kids in high school and their different lives and stuff like that in their story. The stories intertwine with each other. So you see it from one person's perspective and then another person's perspective. Can't talk today. And it's really, really good. It's so great. But there's a lot of stuff that they do in there that I'm just like, are they allowed to do this? Because they literally look like they're high school kids.
Yeah.
And I know Justice Smith is in it. He was on the Pokemon movie and the new Jurassic Park Lost Kingdom or something like that. And he plays this like overly flamboyant queer character. unapologetic. He's just amazing. I love him. I wish I was like that when I was in high school. And he was just so good. He was so good. But there were some themes in that show that I was like, I hope that they're of age, but they all were. So
Yeah.
But check out Generation. I promise you guys will love it.
I'm gonna read that down as well.
So this is half the fun of having guests, is that we always like get told about things that like we otherwise don't know about.
Yeah. Like, all right, not to get off the movie though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to steer in the wrong direction.
I love recommendations.
I think I brought up like Euphoria. There's a lot of the songs that really are that I found interesting, and one we were talking about before we went live was Human Voice, which is essentially like they're hiding out and their phones don't work, so they can't communicate with their loved ones to make sure people are safe or to find out where they are, just to hear them. And there's like this realization with the characters of like how reliant we are on technology, and that we're like glued to our phones, which is like everyone's always like, oh, you're glued to your phone. But there's like good parts of that is that we're able to stay connected in especially like during the pandemic, right? When we were all quarantined, and even still when we're socially distancing, or I like to say we're physically distancing because socially we're still like able to communicate in ways that like they couldn't do before. And it just was like such a real song because like the premise of it is just I like want to hear another human voice. Like I just want to like you long for human contact and like just being next to other people. And after like over a year of just being in the one place with like whatever one person you have to interact with, after a while I'm like, I love you so much, but I want to just talk to another human.
Yes.
Like we're slowly just becoming one.
And I don't want that. I love you, but no.
That was great. That was a cool time.
That's why I've been doing this a lot, especially during the pandemic. Like I met so many cool people. Like I met you guys. I met so many other people doing this just because I can't meet people in person. I will say I'm like, what do you call? I'm not like an extrovert, but I'm also not too much of an introvert. What do you call the one in the middle? Ambivert?
Ambivert, yeah.
Ambivert. That's me. Like I'm like it, like right there. Because I have my times where I like to just be in the house, and then I like time being out with people, and doing this with like with you guys and stuff. This is just it's been great just because it's like I'm doing it in person without the touch and stuff. But at the same time, you do. Like when you do this a lot and you actually get to know people more, you actually do want to meet them in person. And then it just, I don't know. I don't know if we're ever going to get that anytime soon just because the way the world is going back to how it was last year. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with doing this. I'm fine with doing this.
I think it's also like real, like there's small blessings, silver linings, I guess, in that because of the pandemic, we have like certain technologies, or people are more aware of technologies that they didn't have before, like StreamYard, I wouldn't have known about. Zoom, we all know about. So now we're able to connect with people we might not have. Like you were saying, most of the people you connect to aren't in Philadelphia, right? Like doable that we could meet in person, but like there's a lot of them, like even people that we've communicated with that are just like far away. Like, oh, you're in Canada, okay.
That's crazy. We're not.
Like any other time I probably wouldn't have been able to like hang out with that person, and luckily we all have like the internet now, like to this degree, to make those connections.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little bittersweet. Like it's unfortunate all of this stuff is happening, but I feel like if this didn't happen, I probably wouldn't have met like Joe from Horror Queers and maybe even like you guys and Xena and things like that, because if the pandemic didn't happen, we probably would have went off into like doing other things, or like probably would have taken us somewhere else. So I feel like with the pandemic happening, it's just like we're forced to get into our creative side. We're forced to, hey, well, I'm not really working much, so let me do the things I always wanted to do. And that's what at least happened for me. Like I was still working, and then when my job closed down back last December, I said, all right, I'm gonna take this time to, do more horror content and meet cool people and fun people. And I enjoyed that ride so much, and I still am doing it. Like I love it so much. I said I'm grateful for the pandemic for that part, but everything else, nah.
The life changing.
Right.
None of that.
It does open for growth, though. stress and trauma. Unfortunately, it does bad things, but also like it's like that's the most of the times when people like grow as humans and like usually build empathy and become better. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
yeah. You hope. Yeah.
Either that or doubling down. I don't know. People are interested in their coping mechanisms, I think. But
yeah. And I've been thankful for the forced slowdown like of things, because I'm very much a person who's like, I'm doing 20 things at once. And the pandemic like forced me to be like, okay, I can't do anything. For like I was like, okay, recalibrating, figuring it out. And now I'm like back to doing a million things. But like there was a long time where I could take those breaks that like I probably wouldn't have given myself like in normal times. And at the same time getting opportunities because we don't have those barriers of like you have to be here physically. Like people are realizing like, oh, you can actually do plenty of work and you can do it efficiently from far away. That's okay.
My introverted neurodivergent self is living their best life. I'm like, yes. I don't gotta go nowhere. Say that. Like I am thrilled. Like aside from the sad parts of it, but I'm like, yes. You telling me I could just like talk to people on the internet? I don't actually have to like talk to them. You know what I mean?
Right.
I like eye contact, but sometimes, it's just like
it'd be stressful.
I gotta go places.
Yeah.
My entire like horror experience has been just Gabe dragging me outside to go places like before the pandemic. Like that was like, so you want to go out? No. Okay, we're going. And then we'd have a great time. But it's like really funny. Like the introvert time is like, you don't initiate the out. You need your extrovert friend to get you there.
Exactly. I have one friend that does that. Like I'm a Taurus and he's a Taurus too, but he's more of I guess more of an outgoing Taurus. Like I'm an outgoing person too, but as far as like he just likes to do things. I guess extroverted. I was trying to say.
Yeah,
he's more of that type of person. Where me, like I said, I'm in the middle. So he's always doing that. Just drags me out, and he does it in like a sneaky way all the time, and it always work. Always work.
He's like, see, it turns out you didn't want to do this.
But then I usually end up having a great time when I'm working. So
it's weird. Us extroverts, we're a gift. So you're welcome. Because we know that's actually great out there. You're missing out. The one thing I wanted to say about this film to circle back, and then I'll ask you all what is your takeaways, is the song No Such Thing as a Hollywood Ending, or like you're not going to get a Hollywood ending. Because when it happened in the middle of this or the beginning of the film, it was just like teen time where it was like, we're not going to get the Hollywood ending because like the boy's not going to get the girl, or like, we're not going to get to accomplish our dreams, whatever, like teen angst. And I was like, okay, High School Musical, whatever.
Yeah.
But then it comes back as like a reprise at the end where it's saying like, everyone is dead. Like you're not getting a Hollywood ending. Like this is sad.
Yeah.
Sad AF. Like it is not your Hollywood. And they're like, you're not going to get, and I was like, you motherfuckers. Like, you warned me and I just blew it off.
Literally flipped upside down. And I love that they did that they did a reprise version, and now it's like that song is a whole nother meaning now too. It's so crazy.
Missed. Like, what are you doing here? So that was like that ending like was what really got me, because I was like, I think like one of the deaths was really shocking because I just wasn't expecting it, and I was just like, oh, anyone could die.
Yeah, like once it started, it did not stop in that regard.
And and like so no one was safe, and so by the end, you're just like with the few people you got, and there's no guarantee like of safety or like what happens post credits. So you see, hearing them like, there's no such thing as a Hollywood ending, and I was like, you fuckers. Okay.
Yeah, I got misty eye a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, it really like they lost so much, and like they have like their like flashes through where everyone is, and you're just like, would I want to just be like a bumbling zombie, like if I'm next to the person I love, I guess, like, and they're also a zombie? It made me think of that, because I was like, I don't know if I want to be alive. Like, I don't know if I want to be real, like human during the apocalypse, like in the zombie apocalypse in that scenario. Because like, why? So maybe I do want to just be a zombie with everyone else. Like, maybe it's not bad.
There's a zombie community, you know?
Yeah. We could rally together. It could be like warm bodies. We figure it out.
I wouldn't know what I want to be. Like the one part of me feels like I can make it through this. I can fight through all of this. I can get out. I can whatever. But then it's just like, do you really want to be alive for that? Because I feel like this is going to be continuous. This is like, you're going to have to keep, this is your life now. This is probably going to reach on to the others. You're going to have to keep going through this.
Yeah.
You're not going to Australia.
Right.
yeah. You don't get to go to grad school, whatever you want.
No, he just died. He doesn't get to go anywhere. Oh, that's spoilers. Might be. Okay. He doesn't get to go anywhere, though. He's just...
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah. A lot of them are.
But the other part of me is just like, maybe just be a zombie. You know, you're just this rotted corpse walking around. You don't have to worry about being attacked or killed because that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like you don't have any worries anymore.
Yeah.
You're carefree.
Yeah.
Right.
It would really depend on like when it happens, how close am I in proximity to a pharmacy would be the deciding factor ultimately. Because if I got my medicine to last me a while, like, yeah, I can live.
Yeah.
But like otherwise, no. I can't run. I have asthma. Like, what do you mean?
You just have to run faster than the person next to you.
Yeah.
I'm the person next to you that fell, and you're welcome. But Gabe, I feel this so much because, like, at the beginning, the Hollywood one, like, that guy was giving off such, like, my lady, gentleman energy. I was like, you are not entitled to your friend. She is your friend. You need to sit down. It's sad she doesn't like you, but we're not going to have a whole nice guys song. That's not what we're doing. So I was like, spoilers, I was like, okay that he died. I was like, that's sad. But also, okay, good.
Yeah.
I like that she told him no. Like, she was very like, we are friends, period.
Friend zone.
Yeah, she's like FRIENDS. That's it. She's like the song.
Spoiler alert, you can be friends with somebody and not touch them that way. That exists. It's an option at all times.
Like, if you're interested in that gender of person, you can still could be just friends.
Allowed. That was always allowed.
It's always allowed. Any last thoughts from you two about the film?
I love this movie. Again, the first time I was just like, I didn't know how I felt about it, but then when it actually got into the meat, and I feel like I fell in love with it when the talent show or whatever was happening. I was like, all right, this is my type of shit. And then when the zombies came, and I was like, yes, I do wish the zombies. I mean, they did a great job on the look of the zombies and stuff, but I just wish they were a little bit more like grotesque or whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's still good. It was still great. I don't know. I recommend it. I had fun watching this. It is a fun movie. It's funny. It's fun. I'm not going to say scary. I mean, it has moments where you just be like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
But
like safe horror. Like you're not going to be afraid.
Like, would y'all consider this like a gateway horror for somebody that just want to get into it a little bit? But okay.
Yeah, I think zombie is kind of like that anyway.
Yeah.
It really just depends on if they hate musicals or not.
I was going to say that. That was going to be my question.
There are people who just don't rock with musicals. They're just kind of like the same for me. And if they also aren't sure about horror, maybe this isn't the route for them. But if they love musicals and aren't sure about horror, then 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think like it is horrific, but they were pretty entertaining, the zombies. Like I love that they put like the pool over them and they're
yes.
it's so scary. And then she gets like pissed on by the zombie.
And it was like it's plastic and it was like, oh, well, it's warm plastic.
Yeah, she's like, it's warm plastic. And it sits on her head. She's like, what is that? There was a time where I was camping and I had like my head pressed against, like it was like nighttime. I had my head pressed against the tent, so it was like that. And there were raccoons outside of our tent, and one of them sat on my head from the outside, and I was like,
out.
it's like, oh god. So when
Trash baby.
when I watched that, I was like, I've been there. It's like, I know what that feeling is exactly.
They're cute from afar, but up close in person, I don't want them on me because they can be like, I don't know.
If they don't got rabies, I'm their best friend.
But how do you know if they got rabies?
Right.
It's a game, you know.
No.
How do you feel about
game.
From the zombies? This is why.
How do you
I'm
feel
not
about
surviving.
possums?
About possums?
Yeah,
I
because
always
I think they're like not the cutest. A lot of people are like, oh, they're so cute. I'm like, they're
homely.
terrifying.
They got
like
little
them.
rat tails. I always feel bad for them. Like whenever I see them, I'm like, oh, you shouldn't be here. You gotta go. You gotta go somewhere. You poor thing.
I had one in my yard, and my dogs like ran out and went to it, and I never seen a possum literally play dead, and that was my first time seeing it. It literally just like flopped down.
They really
and my dogs just was sniffing around it, and it was like, oh, and they just like dispersed. They just went. I was like, oh, it worked. That's awesome.
Good job, possum. You did it.
Right.
You just like are not made for like existing.
Right.
Survival, not them. So, man, like when you're like chatting with, like kindred spirits, it's like time goes by so quickly. Like every time we have one of these guest episodes, it's always way too long, and I'm just like, I have to cut this down for TV. But it's always fun, which is why I'm like, we need to meet up in person and have like a fun like horror hang. Like we can watch Halloween, things like that.
So
for
dope.
sure. For one, it has been a pleasure to finally connect and to get to know you and geek out. Like I knew it was going to be amazing. And like we had like when we decided we were going to do guests, like you were on the books like as one of the first.
Yeah, we've had your name.
It was like we just had to figure out where to
like
put him.
when can we talk to them? When Bobby?
Where do we put Bobby? Because we got to figure out an excuse to get them on our show.
Thanks, guys. Y'all about to make me cry.
Like I think we were on like listed on a few episodes where like Bobby ? And then I was like, you know what? We're doing musicals. I bet they're gonna love it. We're gonna bring them on anyway.
Well, y'all know me because I love musicals, and here I am.
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll just watch Rent. We'll just all watch Rent and cry together.
Yo, please.
Yeah,
I haven't watched Rent and cried in a while, and that sounds like a lovely time.
Listen to Rent somewhat.
I got the soundtrack, like a physical CD. I watch that movie every year around Christmas just because it's set around like Christmas New Year's.
Yeah.
I know all the words, the lyrics. I mean, if we watch Rent together, y'all gonna be tired of me. So
no, because we can all sing. Like Kat and I did that once.
Gabe and I have done a choreographed routine to the one song. What is it called, Gabe?
Take Me or Leave Me.
Take Me or Leave Me. Yeah.
Yes.
Like dramatically on our steps when we used to live together. We've done a whole routine to that song.
So we're definitely up for it.
I can imagine it now.
Yeah, it was fun. I was Idina. Very loud. Yeah. So when we can all sing loud and obnoxiously along to Rent.
Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. You come true. I don't have too many people that want to do that with me. So like,
we're here for it.
Yes. It's gonna happen.
For our listeners, where can they find you so that they can get more amazing content and hear you chatting with your friends?
Oh, well, thanks again, guys, for having me on here on y'all amazing platform. I really, really appreciate it. This was a fun time. This made my day. Actually made my week because just had a lot going on this week. Nothing horribly, gone wrong or terrible things happening, but just, I was looking for something to brighten up, my day, and this just did it for me. So thanks again, guys. I really, really appreciate it.
Of course.
And I definitely want to have you guys on my stuff as well. I'm just looking for the right moment as well. But I think I have something cooking. I have a list of folks who I want on, and you guys are definitely on there as well.
Yay.
I'm just waiting for the right time, and also, with the new job situation going on, we have to figure out planning. But anyway, sorry, I'm going on a rant. Bobby Likes It Spooky. That's my YouTube channel. You can find my videos and, collage, theme ratings, all that stuff there. You also can find me, Bobby Likes It Spooky, on Instagram. Bobby Torrez on Instagram and Twitter with a Z, not an S.
Nice.
And I just talk all horror stuff there as well.
Yes. Always know what's going on. And definitely, if you're listening and you aren't already following, please do. It's such a delight. And it's a great escape in that like horror community as well. And you're a great resource as well, just for like what's going on in the horror world.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get your finger on the pulse of the horror community, then you definitely should be following Bobby on social media. But thank you again so much for joining us and talking about this super fun zombie film.
Yes.
Musicals. We will have more musicals coming up. We have Repo the Genetic Opera next week and some cool, really weird films coming up at the end of this month as well that are horror musicals. So with that being said, Kat.
Don't get married.
Your kids.
Your kid.
Bye.